We begin right now. This is a live look at Jacksonville Beach in Florida, where Hurricane Helene, has officially made landfall. You can see the storm surge up onto the beach. The wind is just blowing and whipping around that rain. Now we want to give you a live look in St. Augustine right now. You can actually barely make anything out in this webcam tonight. Now, Tim, I know that you have been keeping track of Hurricane Helene. It is a Category 4 storm tonight, but you said you just got a new update, and what did you just learn?
Yeah, so sustained winds are still at 140 miles per hour, so still a very strong Category 4 storm, but wind gusts are now up to 160 miles per hour. You can see that right there, and moving north-northeast at 24 miles per hour. And that live shot was just from Jacksonville. This is actually making landfall in Perry in the Big Bend area, but in Jacksonville, they're getting hurricane force wind gusts and tropical storm force sustained winds on this side because there's nothing in the Atlantic. There's no friction to stop those winds, so that inflow is very, very strong. Those high winds coming in on the East Coast as well. That's why you see those tropical storm warnings there. But zooming in right here, you can clearly see that eye wall impacted and now has moved onshore just to the northwest of Gross City.
We now know tonight, as I mentioned, Hurricane Helene has strengthened into that Category 4 hurricane. The storm expected to bring catastrophic damage for parts of Florida's Big Bend.
Megan Scarano was in Panama City Beach, west of where that storm just made landfall, and brings us a look at how people along the Gulf Coast prepared ahead of the storm.
Definitely get hairy out there.
Double red flags don't scare these Gulf Coast surfers. Jason Tuno is a lifelong resident who wanted to test out his brand new board on the same day Helene would make landfall. We've got red flags flying. Why'd you get in the water?
It's better waves, honestly. You know, on the Gulf Coast, we're so far up, a lot of the swells don't really reach us. So times like this, we have a little more water.
Before catching the waves, he did make sure some preparations were done at home.
Everything outside had to come inside. You know, sorted out my garage so my car could fit in there if things got kind of crazy.
Meanwhile, for Melinda Petkov, the hours before Helene's landfall were filled with all work and no play.
We're just making sure that we don't get water in the house. So we're moving stuff up to the second floor right now just to be prepared.
This will be her first hurricane in this home. 3 to 6 inches of rain is forecasted to fall in the area. Petkov's neighbors warned her to be ready for rising water.
I do not have flood insurance, so therefore, and I just went through the tornado and I just finished remodeling, so I don't want to have to deal with all that.
And the rough waves didn't keep this couple away from their tradition of scoping out every hurricane before it hits.
With so much things that could go wrong, it's nice to see a little bit of beauty in Mother Nature.
What's the assessment of Helene?
So Helene is probably third after Michael and Katrina. So, but it's pretty bad. The waves, and I expect they're going to get worse as the real storm really moves in.
And as Hurricane Helene is making landfall at this hour, the storm traveling this way as well, there are things that you need to do before, during, and after the storm. High winds are expected and a possibility of flooding.
Now, Jenny Borick is joining us now live from Miamisburg. Jenny, you spoke to 2 companies that are preparing in case there's damage. How are they telling customers to prepare?
Yeah, Gwen and Elise, I spoke to AES Ohio, and there might be power outages, so lights like you see behind me could be out. I also spoke to Maxim Roofing, and both companies stress that safety is the #1 thing. It is better to prepare now and know what to do than to wait until it's too late.
This is the time I call out to all customers to take the necessary precautions.
Hurricane Helene's winds are pounding Florida as the storm makes landfall, and they will be sweeping through Ohio on Friday, reaching speeds of 40 to 50 miles per hour. AES Ohio's Director of Corporate Communications, Mary Ann Cable, says make a plan. A good place to start is with these 3 steps. First, know
where your family members or other extended members or friends are going to be, to make sure they take cover and are safe during this time. The other thing, too, is to have a storm kit. You know, the flashlights, non-perishable food items, all the things necessary in the case of a power outage. And then number 3, to have those emergency numbers.
High winds can do damage quickly. Jeff Sandlin, the president of Maxim Roofing's commercial division, says it may be too late to do roofing repairs now, but make sure your gutters are clear, and if you get a leak, contain it with buckets or trash cans. If your drywall ceiling is leaking, be sure to use this trick.
If you actually poke a little pinhole in the ceiling, it'll help it funnel through rather than drop a whole ceiling down. If you have a lot of water coming in, you got to keep in mind there's insulation above there. It's like a giant sponge, and it can absolutely collapse and come down and just make an absolute mess.
And for after the storm, there are safety precautions you should take if there are power lines down or if you have roof damage.
Consider everything energized with anything that has to do with a down power line. Call us.
Safety is a huge thing. I can't tell you how many times I drive through neighborhoods and see people using ladders, wrong. It can be deadly. I know it seems simple. You just climb up to do something quick, but accidents happen fast. If you're not used to using a ladder, you don't probably need to be the guy getting out there putting that ladder up.
Now, both companies say they have extra crews on standby, ready to come in if the storm leaves damage in the path. Back to you.
And crews from across the country and here in Ohio, they are ready to help in the aftermath of Helene. I spoke with Ohio Task Force 1 and Churches of Christ disaster response team about their activations and what's to come over the next few days.
If we didn't do it, who will?
Ohioans answering the call to help.
As long as volunteers are still coming in and there's still a need, we will be there to help them.
Ohio Task Force 1 and Churches of Christ disaster response team, just 2 of the many crews from across the country ready to step up. Well, we now want to give you another live look at Panama City Beach in Florida. This is not exactly where Helene is making landfall. It's a little to the west, but that area is still being impacted. It's really hard to really see what exactly is going on, but you can see the waves in the background. They're crashing now. Hurricane Helene has reached Category 4 strength with sustained wind speeds of 140 miles per hour, if you can believe it.
Yeah, the storm has made landfall officially within the past 15 to 20 minutes or so. Water levels already rising along Florida's coast. In St. Petersburg near Tampa, officials say they're already receiving calls for high water rescues. And Florida's government now warning residents of widespread power outages. In fact, let's give you a live look now from the poweroutage.us. More than 875,000 homes and businesses are now without power. That number actually has already grown in the past hour or so, with over 100,000 more customers in the dark tonight.
And this is a live look back here at home from our Eco Plumbers Sky Cam tonight. Tim, things are looking pretty calm right now, but we are going to start to see some of those effects here in the next couple hours, right?
Yes, so we are expecting some effects from what will be the remnants of Hurricane Helene once it reaches our area. So through the night tonight, we will start to see more rain move into the region. You can kind of see that here by the early morning, probably starting off a little soggy with some moderate rain showers. Now it looks like we might have a dry period at some point in the early day, the middle of the day, and as we head towards the afternoon hours is when we do expect some heavier rain to move in, as well as some pretty gusty winds as well. Right around 2 to 8 p.m. tomorrow, we're expecting some pretty gusty conditions, so we'll see that in a little bit. But a dry period in the overnight hours on Friday and into the early morning hours Saturday. But the system will continue to spin off to our southwest. So when it does so, we'll continue to get some wraparound moisture over and over again. So we'll have periods of dry weather and then more rain moving into the region. You can see by Saturday evening some more showers and then clearing out a little bit as we head into the early morning hours on Sunday, and then on and off showers throughout the afternoon on Sunday as well. But the best chance for some moderate to heavy rain will be Friday and into parts of Saturday as well. So here's a look at that precipitation chance. You can see widespread to washout conditions through most of the first part of your day on Friday, drying out briefly before things pick back up in the early morning hours Saturday through the afternoon hours.
We're continuing our coverage tonight on the immigrant influx in Springfield.
Help has arrived in the city of Springfield. It's now the first step from the state to help with primary care. Eli Burgett was in Clark County and shows us what arrived.
The challenge that is faced by the community is the primary care health system is strained. It is stretched by the large number of people who are in the community.
In hopes of cutting down on primary care wait time, Governor DeWine, along with the Ohio Department of Health and Clark County Combined Health, unveiled a mobile health clinic in the city of Springfield. They say the clinic provides an extensive list of primary care services, including basic health assessments, lab testing, and vaccinations for diseases and viruses like flu, measles, whooping cough, and COVID. And the lack of vaccinations has been an issue the governor and others have brought up that comes with the influx. That's because they say in general, many Haitian migrants have had little to no health care services prior to arriving in the United States. The mobile health clinic will be staffed by both local and state-provided health professionals and will remain open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Both state and county officials hope that this mobile clinic will lessen the healthcare impacts that they are seeing, while also serving as a launching pad for more resources being provided to the community in the future.
We're here to serve the entire community, and the entire community is going to come. We feel very confident that once this gets out, we're going to be serving a lot of people, because our cultures may make us different, but our community all makes us one.
That was Eli Burgett reporting. Now, the city of Springfield also announcing it will encrypt its police fire and EMS dispatch channels due to safety concerns. It says it's doing this to keep its first responders' locations and movements confidential and prevent misuse by hobbyists, civilians, or malicious actors who could attempt to interfere with emergency responders. Now, the city says it will also lead to safer deployment of resources and allow first responders to discuss details without accidentally releasing sensitive information. Now, the city says in part, quote, "The safety of our residents is our highest priority, and these enhancements will contribute to a more secure and effective emergency response system." We'll be right back. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Take Dayton 24/7 Now News
The man accused of permanently blinding a security guard in October of 2023 appeared in court today. 26-year-old James Fickling now faces several charges, including felonious assault, kidnapping, and obstructing official business. While in court, his team filed a motion for more independent competency and sanity evaluations. He's set to be back in court November 14th.
And the two suspects on trial for murdering 12-year-old Isabella Amor Carlos also in court today. Back in August, police say Antoine Benson and Javen Connor confronted a woman in Trotwood over a social media post, and the next day allegedly fired dozens of shots into homes on West Fairview Avenue. Following today's day in court, both suspects will have another scheduling conference on October 10th.
It's already week 6 of Thursday Night Lights. We're going to take you to West Carrollton for the matchup with Stebbins after the break.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Inflation is killing Ohio's working.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
After losing one of their cats, one Troy family found love in a very special feline. Alex King tells us all about their healing journey in this month's Tales of Love.
We didn't realize an animal could really love like she does, and it's unconditional.
Solana Fiscal told her mom, Maggie, she wanted to adopt a cat that's had challenges and needed a fresh start.
So we did not know Lovey was blind. When we seen her online, we just thought her picture she was sleeping. And so this was the cat she picked out of all the cats.
They found the perfect fit during the search.
She does everything a normal cat would do. Just she can't see. So she uses her ears and stuff a lot to just kind of guide herself. And it's pretty cool watching her, how she gets around.
While their family was grieving the loss of one cat, Lovey was a scared little kitten out in the wild on her own.
She fills all the voids. She definitely does. Like I say, she's just so affectionate. Like, she wants to touch you all the time. And she wants you to rub on her all the time. And we love that because we're very affectionate people.